Hi, I'm Dennis Semsey. This is the Faith in Humanity podcast. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Faith in Humanity podcast. On this episode, I sat down and I talked to a young lady from Poland named Patrycja. I probably just butchered her name. First of all, I'm just terrible with names in general. I'm terrible at remembering them. Even if a name is slightly difficult to pronounce, I butcher it every time. So I just want to extend an apology to Patrycja for the way that I pronounced her name. But she was absolutely wonderful. I contacted her and asked if she wanted to talk about her beliefs in Hinduism, and she was more than willing and really excited to talk with me, and I really just appreciated that about her. Even with there is like a slight language barrier, sometimes it was like a little bit difficult for her to understand me, and maybe for her to explain what she was trying to explain, but she was really patient, and she really helped walk me through her beliefs, why she believes what she believes, how she got to believe what she believes, and how it kind of influences her life and everything. And it was just really wonderful speaking with her. On top of being just like totally accommodating to me and just explaining everything, being very patient and explaining everything, she also sent me some really cool photos from her home shrine, and I posted those up on Twitter. So if you haven't started following us already, you should definitely follow us on Twitter, TFIH_podcast. That's where you can find us. Definitely follow us on there, because I do post up a really cool side of the podcast that you don't see on Facebook. You definitely obviously don't see listening to the podcast. But anyway, so I really hope that you guys enjoyed this, because I had a blast talking with her. So you live in Poland, right? Right now?
Yes, I mean in Poland. I come from Poland and I live in Poland.
Oh, okay. So you're originally from Poland?
Yes, of course.
So are you in the minority? Like there's not many people that follow Hinduism?
It's like this. I was born in Poland. I am Polish.
Yeah.
And I was born as a Christian.
Oh,
but
okay.
I just converted to Hinduism, and I can tell you now that yes, there are not many Hindus in Poland, but I am not even, I'm not Indian. I'm Polish.
Yeah.
Who just converted to Hinduism.
Okay. So you grew up Christian, like pretty devout
Yes.
Christian. Okay. So then, can you tell me a little bit about like how you found Hinduism then, and how you converted to Hinduism, and like is your family? I'm guessing your parents, and do you have siblings? Do you have brothers, sisters?
I don't have any siblings.
Okay.
Right now I live with my mom only.
Okay.
But I can tell you like this. My story was like this. My family is not much religious. They are Catholic.
Oh.
But my parents were never much religious. Maybe my grandparents maybe they are religious, but my parents are not. I simply I can tell you like this. When I was 10 years old, I heard the national anthem of Bangladesh, and I fell in love with this.
Okay.
And I started studying about Bangladesh, reading, and I fell in love with Bengali language, and then I wanted to study Bengali language. I wanted to learn, and so I started studies in Warsaw. On the University of Warsaw, I studied Indian culture, in Indian studies, and I learned Bengali language. And during that studies, I also learned much about Hinduism, as is religion from India. And like this, my story started from that moment, and I also met my guru.
What?
My guru. My master, like a spiritual teacher, from his.
Okay, yeah.
it's good to have a guru, such a teacher, someone who can guide you.
Yeah.
And this my guru. He's from India.
Okay.
And I don't him. I know him just online mostly. But
Okay.
he's my best friend also.
That's great.
He's a very good person.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes,
Have you been to India and Bangladesh? Have you?
Unfortunately, not yet. But
Not yet.
I want to go so much.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so you practice Hinduism by yourself. You don't go to a temple, or is there temples? Like, or there's like places to worship in?
Yes, I practice Hinduism, and this is my way of life. This is my biggest love of my life, and this is everything to me. And there is a temple in Poland, in Warsaw.
Okay.
There is one temple, and I've been there many times. But now I live in Lublin. This is a different city, and here there is no temple. But this is not something like I have to go to temple. This is not my obligation,
Okay.
But I can tell you one thing. I am, as a Hindu, I am a priest of my own temple because I have an altar in my room.
Okay.
But it will be hard to me to show you. I can send a picture because
send a picture. Yeah.
Take laptop and this is I have so many places. Here on my one wall there are so many pictures. Second wall there is this my altar.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I've heard that. I've heard that a lot of Hindu people, they'll have temples in their house and they'll kind of practice. But there's no like head person, like you said. There's no pope, right?
Yes. And as I told you, I have a temple in my room also.
So can you give me? Because I am pretty naive about Hinduism. There's little things that I know, and I think a lot of people are kind of at least in America, and like maybe in Europe too. People don't really know exactly what Hinduism is. The only thing that I really know about Hinduism, and this may be like silly, like childish, like a child's understanding, but I always thought, what I've learned is that you have like many gods, right? Or is it that's like all that I really know, and there's a lot with dharma and karma is important, right? And I know that, but can you give me just a kind of an overview of the beliefs, maybe very basic, or what's kind of the core beliefs of?
Yes, of course. Like as you said, that in Hinduism, maybe I will start like this, because Hinduism is not a religion which is like all people believe in the same thing, who follow the same point of view or the same scriptures even, because like in Christianity or especially Catholic Church, there is a Pope, there is one Bible, there is you have to believe in this and otherwise it's a sin or something like this. And in Hinduism there are so many views, many people believe in many things, like there are for example major groups of Hinduism, major sects, like there are people who follow mostly who worship mostly Lord Vishnu, some Lord Shiva, some Devi, like Mother Goddess, some but almost everyone believe in some things like karma. This is it means that if you do something good or something bad to someone, you will give it back after this life or next life. And if we harm someone, if we do something bad, then we also will get the same amount of pain to ourselves.
Yeah.
And yes, and it also depends if someone is a good person, do good things, or especially cares much about spirituality, he or her will get a good life, next life, a good body, and also it depends like For example, if we our next life also depends on our desires or attachments also. Like if we this life love I don't know love much one or another thing, we are much interested in this. So it's possible that in next life we will just reborn to fulfill our desires, our dreams, our something like this.
Okay.
And yes. And this is and also dharma. This is another thing. It means that we need to do our own duties. Like every person has some kind of duty to fulfill. There are religious also religious duties. It depends mostly on our qualities. This is. And we can say that in Hinduism that there are 4 varnas. It means that for classes of people, something like this. And most of people think that it depends on our family where we are born. Like we are born in a Brahmin family, then we are Brahmins. But first of all, it depends on qualities which we have. Like there are four varnas. Like Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. And those who are Brahmins have qualities like they are pure, their mind is good, they are spiritual, they don't harm others. Like those are people mostly who care religion much, and there are good people. They are wise, their intellect is much. And the Kshatriya Varna, those are people who are, warriors, who are leaders, who, for example, work in trade, like do some, there's sell, something like, business, like this. And there's also art. And the Shudras, they're the lowest Varna. Those are mostly people who are, whose qualities are to serve others. But the true Shudras, those are people who are not so much, spiritual. They are attached to material things, but in the way that like. They follow their material desires, if you can say,
okay.
Sensual desires. The most important, like eating, like sex, like sleeping.
Yeah.
This is the most important in their life. They don't care high spiritual things much. But yes, it doesn't mean that if someone is born in a family of those Shudra Varna, it doesn't mean that he needs to be. Even if someone is born in, it doesn't matter in which family someone is born. If a person has qualities like Brahmin qualities, like they are wise, they are spiritual, they are pure, calm, like this. So this person can be considered as a Brahmin, because Brahmins are mostly considered as priests, like or also this caste. And this is this, and also principle of Hinduism. Like there is, I can tell you about a view on God. This is also important, because in Hinduism, as I told us before, people have many points of view. It depends, and many scriptures say many things. But in general, we can say like this: there's one supreme being, like we can call Brahman. And this Brahman is both Nirguna and Saguna. And Nirguna Brahman is like this is understood like rather like energy, which is formless, which is impossible to understand, and we can't tell that Brahman has any qualities, because it's impossible to understand, impossible to describe, and we just can say that he's not that or he's not that. We can't describe, and so it's just like rather an energy, supreme reality, no?
Yeah.
And Brahman can also manifest himself as with qualities also, and there is called Saguna Brahman that time, and we can understand this Saguna Brahman as God in our understanding, and we can tell then God has many good qualities, like he's I don't know, merciful, he loves God, he's good, and like this.
Yeah.
And also the Saguna Brahman, God comes to us in the form we want, and as people, if someone wants to worship God as don't know, as a man, he can. There are male deities. If someone wants to worship God as a female, there are many forms of goddesses, and in fact, all those gods and goddesses, all those deities are the same. Are the same God, but in many shapes, many forms.
Oh, okay.
And yes, and it's not like they're
So you have one God, really? You
yes, there's mostly one God,
okay.
and but he manifests himself in many ways.
Okay.
And he's in reality God is formless. He's impossible to describe. But this is for our own benefit. God let us know him as good, as like this. And as you can see, Hindus have many pictures of deities. We worship God as Shiva, as Vishnu, as Krishna, as Durga, Kali, or other deities. This is so good from my point of view, because it helps to develop the love towards God, devotion. If God is a kind of close to us, for example, for example, I think that I believe that temple worship, or like we have altar, we have idols.
Okay.
And from my point of view, it's very good, because it helps us to develop the devotion towards God. If we take care of those idols, we can look at this, we can talk to this, we can talk to them, we can bath them, we can offer flowers like this.
Yeah.
It's called puja, this ritual. It helps you, when we, I think this is a kind of psychological fact, that if we pay much attention to someone, if we give much time, we develop relationship with this person, and that's why I think it's good from this point of view.
Yeah. It's like Catholics with the crucifix or the rosary, right? It's like that same. They kind of worship that in a way, or they hold that and they talk to that, and they kind of, is it like that with the idols? Is that what you mean?
Yes, we can say that, but also in Catholic Church, in Christianity, they are mostly like symbolic, maybe, and but Hindus also do rituals on those idols. We bath them in a ritual way. We offer flowers. We offer incense. We offer like we bath in milk, in other things,
Yeah.
and this is very good. We can dress up them in or
Yeah,
offer
yeah.
color. This is very nice. I love this personality. And as you asked me about
So do you have your own personal goddess? Does every kind of person choose a personal goddess that fits?
Yes, exactly.
You're giving a lot of information. It's very good. I just want to understand everything, This is a lot of information. Let me just see. So there's one main god. Was it in Brahma?
Brahman. Yes, and this supreme personality, supreme supreme being can come to us in many forms. Yes, and there are many deities, which are in fact the same being, like many times, like you pour water in many vessels, like big or small or like this. But this is the same water, but in many shapes. And yes, every Hindu have a chosen deities called Ishta Devata, and yes, and we can worship a deity in the form which we love the most.
So fascinating. It's almost like God, the supreme being, right? The supreme being in your religion. He decided to take all these different forms in order to relate to every person individually, to connect with everybody. It's almost like this God realized, hey, everybody has different personalities. Everybody's different. How are they going to be able to connect with me, worship with me? How am I going to connect with them? Well, that means I have to have all these different forms so that people can connect with me. It's like his way of, wow, I like that. I like that a lot.
God mercy, I think.
Yes, absolutely. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. So Dharma is what you're supposed to be doing with your life. Your kind of goal, your what you need to achieve.
Yes.
And you have and kind of like reincarnation is like you keep working at that goal until you achieve it, and then you go to heaven, or is it like so is it almost like you keep working towards this goal, or does it reset every time that you die? And
yes, with reincarnation it's like this. As we are, for example, like in our life, and if we will do good deeds, we will get a good body next. If bad deeds, then we will get a bad body like this. And as I told you, it also we can reborn to fulfill our dreams from this life. But this is not a goal of Hinduism to be reborn again and again, because the supreme goal of every Hindu is to achieve moksha. It means a liberation from this reincarnation.
okay.
And this is not like a heaven, because there is also heaven in Hinduism. There is heaven and hell, but it's temporary. It's just like a reward or punishment for our deeds.
Yeah.
But it's not our goal, because we can get reborn. We can get liberated from from this reincarnation only as when we are humans, and our soul go through many lives. Like we were animals many times, and now we are humans, for example. And only as a humans we can escape from this. And what to do to escape the reincarnation? There are quite many conceptions, but mostly we can say that we can't be attached to anything. We can get an attachment because, for example, when we are much attached to something, then we will reborn and still be attached to this and work to get this, like to money or fame or anything other. And we can't have any desires. We shouldn't have any material desires. We can't.
What about a wife or a husband or your children? You can be attached to them, right? Like loving.
Yes, I will tell. But let me finish.
Okay.
We can be attached to anything or anyone also, and we need to focus on to our spiritual development. We need to improve ourselves. We need to be just focus our mind or the highest goal. Mm-hmm. But people also say that God, this can be grace of God that He liberate us. Mm-hmm. But as you asked about family. Yes, there are in scriptures, in Upanishads or in Gita even, that even if someone is much involved into religion, into spirituality, but he is attached to wife or children, he will never get the supreme goal. He will, but how? This is nothing like we can't love, because love and attachment are two completely different things. Mm-hmm. Because if we are attached to someone, we just want this person for ourselves. Like we just want to keep him or her just to be ours. Like we focus on ourselves in reality, not that second person. And but when we love someone. Okay, we love this person, but we let this person, decide for himself or herself, and we just wanted it for this person also to grow spiritually. This is and love is very good. This is good, but we need to remember that our supreme goal is liberation, and we just need to focus ourselves on good things, on spiritual things, and we shouldn't get involved much into material things, material world, because material world is a source of suffering. When we get attached to something and we lose this, and then we suffer, our mind is disturbed like this, and we need to be indifferent towards material things. If we have money or not, if we have a job or not, or food or family or friends or anything, we shouldn't care, Yeah. It's okay if there is, it's good. But if there is not here, then why to worry? This is the most important in this. We can't hate also like material things. We hate this. This is also bad. This also doesn't lead to liberation. We shouldn't just care much about this. We should be indifferent.
So it's like, in order to be, it makes sense. In order to be liberated, you need to give yourself to spiritual enlightenment, like a spiritual goal, a spiritual journey, because it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know I live in America, like a very wealthy country. It's all about money. It's all about fame. It's all about how much stuff you can get. I mean, I don't know. I've never been to Poland. I'm not sure about Poland, but I know in America there's a big problem where, like, I feel the stress on myself and I hate it, and I get angry, I get depressed, I get, if I'm not at this part of my life, if I don't own this car, if I don't own this house, if I, and you're right, it is, all these material things are definitely a source of negativity, stress, anxiety, and jealousy then, and, anger, resentment, all this stuff. So to be above it makes a lot of sense, but it must be very difficult, because you have to you have to survive, right? You have to live. It must be so difficult. I don't even know what that would look like. I don't even know how that would be or what that would look like. You know?
Yes, this is our also duty to. We need to work. We need to keep our body alive.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't. It can be our supreme goal. Of course, this is one of goals in our which we can achieve in our life, because it is said that there are four: kama, artha, dharma, and moksha. And kama is like sexual pleasure, and artha is there are wealth, getting money, and dharma is like fulfilling our duties. Okay. And also spiritual things, and moksha is liberation, and moksha is the most important out of them. But we can say that this is not a sin to just to get money or something like this. It's not a sin, because God also manifests himself or herself as goddess of wealth. He's called Lakshmi. For example, and so it's not bad, but we can't get slaves. We can become slaves of money or wealth. Like, this is the most important.
Yeah, and so I just want to go back for a second. And when you said, so I'm sure you know, I mean, you said that you grew up Catholic, so you may know this, because I grew up very Christian. They say something, it's like, there's a Bible verse, I'm going to paraphrase it, I don't know it perfectly, but it's pretty much that, like, God created you in your mother's womb, like, inside your mother, God created you, but in Hinduism, do you start as an animal and then you work your way up to human? Like, you're kind of, like, where do you, I understand reincarnation, but where do you start? You just kind of start from like the beginning of time, and then so like if I'm someone, am I making sense? If I'm someone who hasn't been liberated, right? So once I become liberated, I don't go through reincarnation anymore. So that means I could be someone who hasn't been liberated yet? Is that kind of the idea? Otherwise, because I wouldn't be in my body anymore, right?
Yes, we will not. There is in Upanishads a verse that about liberation. That just like rivers merging with the ocean, and they lose their form and their name. And the same with a soul, when it merged with Brahman, with this the supreme being, we lose our name, we lose our form. We are not anymore humans or anything like this, because this is our body is not ourselves. This is not our true identity. Like we are. For example, I'm a girl, I'm 23, I'm from Poland. This is not our true identity, because one thing which I forgot to say, in Hinduism, God, this is, first of all, he can be understood as the being which exists in heart. And the highest philosophy in Hinduism is that we are God. We are this supreme being. We are this, because this part of God, and also part of ourselves, as we can say, the Atman. It lives in our heart. It dwells in our heart, inside our heart. Yeah. And this is and this is the same with God, with Brahman. Yeah. This is supreme reality, and we are God. I am that. This is the major point of view from Upanishads, major idea. And this our Atman. This is it's impossible to describe, because it we understood as a light. Aside from our heart, this is a light. This is pure, bright. This is without any quality. This is simply like. And this is also like God. We can understand that God is bliss. God is without fear, without form. This is light. This is something what is pure. Yeah. As that we can understand God. And And when we escape this reincarnation, we are not anymore like humans or animals and other things. We just I don't know, merge with this bliss, this ocean of as we can believe.
Okay. And so the Supreme Being, he created the world, right?
There are many points of view, you know. Some people, yes, because you know, in Hinduism there are some many scriptures. There are the most important are the Vedas, like Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Tharva Veda, and Samaveda. There are epics like Mahabharata, Ramayana, and many Puranas, which are also texts. There is Bhagavad Gita, which is part of Mahabharata. There are other texts like Manusmriti, but the most important are Vedas, Upanishads, like this. But there are stories from those Puranas that God in the form of Brahma. It's not Brahma. There are, you know, Trinity, some kind of Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. And this Brahma is believed to create the universe. That he created this universe. But you know, the view of Hinduism is that this world doesn't exist. This universe even doesn't exist. Because this is like a kind of illusion. This is kind of illusion, and it doesn't exist in reality. This is kind of dream, you know, and this whole universe that probably this universe doesn't exist, and we also we are just imaginary characters of this story. So we are a part of dream. Like this is said that one of form of God, like Vishnu, and whole universe is just his dream.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's a theory. Yeah. Some people think that this whole universe is the God's dream. Yes,
this whole universe is not real. You know, this is Maya. This is illusion, and it doesn't exist. So maybe it's not important to think who created, because it's maybe just an illusion, and this is a dream. Like we are dreaming, and we think that we experience something, or we see something, we feel something like this. But when we get up, we realize that it was just a dream. It was not real. And yes, but there are also in scriptures that there's a God who created this universe. But even if we take this point of view, in Hinduism, universe is it's like it doesn't have big time, and this creation, this universe is not like this is only one, because let's say that God is created, and there is sometimes passes, and it's destroyed, like God in form of Shiva is said that he's the destroyer of the universe, and later another universe is from the beginning. It all starts, and it's without end.
Wow.
We can like this. Yes. You know, many people claim that this universe is like a play of God. You know, his illusion. He's just created for maybe for his fun, even like.
But he loves us, right?
Yes. If we understand God as with qualities, then yes, God loves us. And even in Bhagavad Gita, which is a very famous scripture, God in the form of Lord Krishna, he says that in general, also like those who who love me, who worship me with devotion, then they are dear to me. Like in Christianity, people believe that God is like an old guy who is sitting in the heaven and who punish us or he reward us and with eternal hell or heaven.
Yeah.
And it means that yes, people say that Jesus loves us or God loves us, and God believes in us, but once we die, and we go to hell, that it will mean that God gives us on us. From my point of view, that he gave up. He doesn't believe in us anymore.
Gotcha.
Like we are just lost and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But in Hinduism, we can say that this reincarnation is kind of blessing, because we have many. Even if our life is not going good, we do bad choice. We are ignorant, and we die, and then we have another chance. We are not lost, and we get another next chance until we get liberation.
Can you remember your past life?
No, I don't remember my past life. I just believe that some people remember, but we can guess. Like in this life, we love this or another thing. And it is believed that maybe in our previous life we were much into this. For example, maybe, who knows? Maybe like I love India, love Bangladesh. I'm much interested into this, into religion or in spirituality. Maybe in my previous life I was, I don't know, someone from India or from Bangladesh who was much devoted to Hindu, and maybe I was bored again, and I started my journey again, and I study. I love reading Vedas. I love reading scriptures. This is the most important for me.
If everybody can be liberated, then at some point could there be no living things on the earth, like a perfect earth, if every creature has been liberated? Could that be something that happens at some point?
In most of the cases, maybe I don't know if most, but this achieving liberation, achieving moksha, is considered as difficult.
Oh.
And many people maybe will never achieve this, and we will get reborn without an end. And as you asked, this is something like our soul it exists from, it always exists.
Yeah.
And from, I don't know how to explain. It exists in the past and will exist in the future. And soul can't be killed, can't be destroyed, can't be, I don't know, cut with pieces.
Yeah.
This is Upanishad from Gita. Soul is immortal, and it cannot be, and it always exists, used to exist, and it will exist. And is this? This sukta which you asked. This is the perfect
explanation. You're fine.
It's finished. This is a very famous sukta. This is called Nasadiya Sukta. This is 129th sukta of 10th mandala, and I can read it for you. This is also asking the questions how all this started.
Yeah.
This I'm reading. Even nothingness was not nor existence. There was no earth then, nor the heavens beyond it. What covered it? Where was it? In whose keeping was there? And then cosmic water in depths unfetum. then there was neither death nor immortality, nor was there then the torch of night and day, the one breathed windlessly and self-sustaining. There was that one then, and there was no other. Okay. At first there was only darkness, wrapped in the darkness. All this was only unillumined water. That one which came to be, enclosed in nothing, arose at last, born of the power of heat. In the beginning, desire descended on it. There was the primal seed, born of the mind. The sages who have searched their hearts with wisdom know that which is kind to that which is not, and they have stretched the cords across the void and know what was above and what below. Seminal powers made fertile mighty forces. Below was strength, and over it was impulse. But after all, who knows and who can say whence it all come and how creation happened? The gods themselves are later than creation, so who knows truly whence it has arisen, and whence all creation has its origin? He, whether he fashioned it or whether he did not, he who surveys it from highest heaven, he knows, or maybe even he does not know. You know that this says that that maybe this even the supreme being, like maybe he knows how all it started, or maybe he doesn't also know.
Wow.
There's like this, you know, all of this was this is like a mystery, you know.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And
yeah,
maybe maybe only God knows why all this exists, how all this started.
Yeah, I mean it's a mystery for everyone. I think everybody. Yeah. I don't think any religion answers all the questions. It's nobody was there at the creation of the world, so who knows? Exactly. Okay, so you mentioned sin a lot. What's defined as sin? Just hurting someone, like doing something bad? Like obviously in Christianity there's like rules, you know, it's written down, like don't do this, don't do that, you know, like Is it like the same thing in Hinduism? And how do you get like forgiveness or doing the right, you know, I'm sure you know in the Catholic Church you used to maybe go to confession or doing the rosary or asking Jesus for forgiveness. Is it? I'm obviously it's not the same in Hinduism. So is there a way? I don't know.
Okay, in Hinduism this is like this, because in Christianity, or we can say that if we do a sin, if we are sinners, we offend God. You know, this is something between us and God also. Like, and we need to do confession, and we need to apologize God for this. And in Hinduism there is a quite different point of view, because we don't offend God with our deeds, but we can say that we offend ourselves. That we just harm ourselves, we harm other people, and this is just this bad karma. And we do bad karma because we are ignorant, and from all our bad deeds, which we can say sin. There are
like stealing, lying, cheating, all that. Like
yes, because we are like a child, like a children who don't have knowledge, who are ignorant like this.
Yeah.
And if we have done a bad karma in the future, we will need to suffer the results of this. We will just need to suffer, and you know, this is something like this is my guru gave a perfect explanation.
Yeah.
That like with this karma, Like another person is like a postman. You know, let's say that you have passed an exam, and this postman came to you with a letter and with the result of this exam, and you just take the letter and you see that if it's a good result that we passed very well, and so whose achievement is this? Our of this postman.
Okay.
This is our achievement that we did good. So and this postman bring us a good letter, but if we did this some bad, we failed, then we will get a bad result, and this is also not fault of this person, this postman. This is our fault.
Yeah.
And as we can say that this. And other people are just like a postman, you know. Like if we do bad to us, this is because we did in the past something bad to others, and if they are good to us, they bring us happiness. This also because we did something good in the past, and how to what to do with bad karma, with bad sins. You know, if we already did a bad thing, and there's nothing like we can get back and repair this, because we just need to do our best to don't do more bad things. We just need to avoid such things, and you know, in scriptures there are many ways how to do something to avoid those things. But it is said that it's kind of atonement for our sins. Like it is said that this is in many scriptures, many Puranas, for example, like chanting God's name. This is the best way to get rid of our sins. But you know,
so if you do something bad and you're expecting bad karma, there are things that you can do to avoid the bad karma to kind of.
Yes. Yeah. And if we, you know, if we get involved ourselves in good deeds, in good, like chanting God's name or chanting the mantras, for example, we create a good, we bring positivity into our environment, or we bring to our mind. We focus our mind on good things, on chanting God's name, for example, on mantras, on holy things, and then it prevents us from doing bad things in the future also. And this is the best way to deal with the sins. Just we can do more.
Okay. Do you feel that like every day your faith influences your decisions that you make on an everyday basis, on like what you do, on maybe life decisions? Yeah, your faith is like central.
Yes, it teaches me to avoid bad things, to avoid bad thoughts, avoid bad deeds. Hinduism also says that we shouldn't harm other people, other beings, or other creatures. We can't give pain like to someone or something. And it also Hinduism teach me how to focus on positivity, how to do good choices, how to fight my ignorance, how to be a good person, how to be a good human being.
Gotcha. Okay. Great. So just in your opinion, are there maybe one teaching or maybe a few Hindu teachings that someone listening when this goes up, or me, that they can adopt very easily into their life and like kind of benefit their life? Maybe a way of thinking, or maybe just a practice that Hinduism has. Is there anyone that you can think of?
We can, for example, we can say that we need to focus on positive things. We need to focus on positivity and don't think much about future or the past. We just need to focus on here and now, and we just need to work hard to improve ourselves, to bring positivity into our life, and we should also bring God also the center of our life, of everything. We need to avoid harming others. We need to, we need to focus on.
It's like it's a mindset that you have to be positive in the moment.
Yes,
encouraging other people.
Yes, we need to avoid negativity. We need to avoid ignorance. We need to fight with this, and we just need to become good people, good example for others.
Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Faith in Humanity podcast. First of all, as always, thank you all so much for listening. Second, thank you, Patrycja, for sitting down and speaking with me. You are awesome. And if you guys want to be awesome like Patrycja, please go on to iTunes, Google, wherever you get your podcasts, and rate and review us. That will help other people find our podcast, and I would really, really, really appreciate it. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook. You can find us at the Faith in Humanity podcast. You can also follow us on YouTube under the same name, the Faith in Humanity podcast. Be sure, once again, to follow us on Twitter. Our handle is TFIH_podcast. Also, shoot us an email. We love hearing from you guys. We love the conversations that we have back and forth with our listeners. So email us at tfih.podcast@gmail.com. And until next time, stay safe and peace be with you.